Well, pick a bloody headline, man. How am I going to break down the Premier League's weekend action into one clip? Because you have Manchester City collapsing, undoubtedly out of the Premier League, as Pep Guardiola has came forward and admitted. You have Diego Costa throwing another hissy fit. Him and Antonio Conte get into a bust-up. Apparently, Conte telling him, fuck off to China then. And they still go on and win 3-0. You've got Arsenal destroying another opponent once again. Alexis Sanchez pissed off about coming off the park. You've got Paul Pogba having an absolute nightmare. But Manchester United still emerging with a point and their unbeaten game streak of around 16 games, I believe, still intact. Liverpool working their socks off, proving that they are undoubtedly contenders. Tottenham Hotspur absolutely smashing their opponents. Harry Kane banging in a hat-trick. What am I supposed to do? One man here. Split myself into two, have one person talk about Chelsea, the other one, I don't know. But I'm going to focus on a couple of things, right? Manchester City implode once again. This is such similar mistakes that they made against Leicester City, and it proves that it wasn't just a one-off, that they are diabolical at times at the back. Really no organisation. Stones looks all over the place. Ironic having it happened against the team that he left to go to Manchester City to further his career. And by golly gosh, would he wish he could go back, look at some tape of the way he used to play and try and find that form, because he was embarrassed. Teenagers were making them look like inexperienced schoolboys out there. Just left them in a pile of light blue tatters on the park. We had Davies, who looks a rare talent. Everton produced these talented players. I just hope that he follows a growth system and stays true to Everton and really focuses on his football there. We've seen what happens in the difference between Wayne Rooney, who made a move and has went on to a fantastic career. Barkley stayed put, but I think he stayed a little bit too long, just in my opinion, and he's kind of went on the other side. He's still got talent, still got a future, but it's just that balance in there. Davies needs to stick around, grow as a player, and then think about his future when he has the opportunity. But he looks a rare talent. He was able to finish off a fantastic move, which he started, got a little bit of luck, as Manchester City just gave them the luck because they were all over them at the back, and he was able to chip it through despite Lukaku's failed efforts, I think, to steal the goal. But Manchester City look just horrible, like holes all over the back. Pep Guardiola has came out, admitted that they're out the title race. As I pull up the league table, bear with me. So yeah, they're now 10 points off Chelsea, and this is a Chelsea team that just lost a star striker who I openly admit I did a clip saying Diego Costa can win the league for Chelsea, but it turns out they could probably win it without him, because Pedro's stepping up, having a phenomenal season. They make last year's champions look bang average, and it wasn't even Leicester's worst performance. Chelsea are just so efficient. Pedro plays so well. Alonso out wide is fantastic, grabbed 2 goals. Eden Hazard looks his familiar self, and N'Golo Kante again, just the unsung hero, will forever be the unsung hero. The world's best footballing version of a Conda. We'll always use that analogy. I don't care what platform I end up on, that analogy will come from these Scottish lips. So Chelsea, yeah, we could talk about them all day. What will go on with Costa, I really don't know. I think Chelsea fans would prefer if he stays. I don't know if it really is true that Conte told him to bugger off to China, but this is not uncharacteristic of Diego Costa. Things are going smooth sailing. He's playing so well. And it was probably like, he probably left one of his shin guards in the dressing room and Conte went, can you go and get it? And he probably threw a hissy fit. It's only the smallest things that trigger him. So Chelsea looking good stead. Arsenal looking good stead. Alexis Sanchez was upset about being subbed, and rightfully so. I mean, when you're having a good game, I know that Arsene Wenger's thinking you want to rest him, but he's playing so well that he just wants to get the most out of every minute on the park. I will never get upset I will never call a player a prima donna for getting angry when they're subbed, when they're playing well. If you're angry and you're playing garbage, like I remember, this is such a weird tangent. Jermaine Jones was angry about getting subbed in the Copa America this year, as if he was Andrea Pirlo pulling the strings. Come on, Gaff, I'm pulling the strings here. No, mate, you're getting ran ragged. Get off, pick up a water bottle, and we'll see you again soon. But so every player gets upset when they're playing well about being subbed. But substitutions leads me into the next point. How much do we have to eat our words and then spit them back out again when it comes to Marian Fellaini? Like, we know he's not good. We know that Jose Mourinho, when bringing him on instead of Marcus Rashford, on paper looks like the worst decision I have ever seen in world football. But he had to do it because Liverpool are so good defensively. They were that good that it forced Jose Mourinho to be like, we have one of the best young talents in the world, arguably, good one-on-one, fast, and then we have him with a dodgy haircut. Get on. Because he had nothing else to do, and it worked. It worked. Long balls into the box, call it what you want. Jurgen Klopp was clearly bitter as well. As much as I love Jurgen Klopp, he was pissed off because he was outsmarted by not smart football. But that's what makes the Premier League so great. That's what makes football so great, because you can have a game that's it's flowing fantastically well. The second half was raggedy all over the park. There's no doubt. It wasn't the best quality game, but it was so exciting. It was so fast paced. And Jose Mourinho had only one option, which was to play the long ball, because Lovren and Klavan back there, they couldn't deal as well as they were dealing with balls on the ground. They were phenomenal at the back. Again, I need to eat more of my words with Lovren. Again, he had a great game. Him, Emre Can was phenomenal in the park. They were closing space so well that Manchester United were forced into a corner where the only person they could turn to was MARE Fellaini. And he pulled them out a hole. His header smacked off the post. It caused a problem. Back in, and there was Zlatan, who's just a magnet to the ball and puts it into the back of the net. 10 goals in his last 10 games. He's took over the Premier League. It's his Premier League. We're all just living in it. He's always a threat to score. And Manchester United emerged with 1 point, and I think they should look at that as a victory. I think Liverpool were the better team for the majority of the game. I know Manchester United fans don't want to hear that and they'll get pissed off. Both teams had their chances, but I think Liverpool collectively looked a little bit better on the ball, a little bit more composed. Paul Pogba had probably his worst game I've seen in a Manchester United jersey, but that's not enough for me to just rip him apart the way I've ripped people apart for ripping him apart. I'm not going to play into this cycle. He had a bad game. He was frustrated by Emre Can. He was frustrated by Jordan Henderson and how fast they close down space, and he's trying to do flicks. He's not helping himself. And when he did find space, he picked the wrong pass. So I don't think he had the best game, and his handball was just him being all over the shop. Trying to jump, there's a clear penalty. So the positives from that game is Liverpool are definitely contenders this year. It's going to take a lot to catch Chelsea. Tottenham are obviously in fine form as well. But Liverpool's hard-working mentality off the ball just puts them, I would say, is the closest thing to catching Chelsea. Solely because off the ball, their movement and their just the overall tenacity of their team is a spectacle to behold. They almost look like the way Barcelona look off the ball. It's funny because when you say Barcelona, you're so good you look like Barcelona. No, not when you're playing with the ball, but when you're off the ball. Because when Barcelona are off the ball, one thing that's overlooked is how much they hunt in packs. Real Madrid do the same thing, Atletico do the same thing, but it's so similar to Barca the way that they set up their system, and it's like a triangular pressure formation. One steps, one is behind, and the other one covers space. Pressure, cover, balance. Talk about it in tactics. Liverpool do it so effing well, man. Like, so effing well. Henderson, Can, and then it's Wijnaldum, his pressure, and then they switch, and one presses, and the other two cover. It's a great thing when the most attractive players on your team, meaning football sense, aren't the standout performers. Like, they close the ball so well that the standouts today were Emre Can, Jordan Henderson, Dejan Lovren. Not as much the Firmino's, and Coutinho when he came on was great, all Lallana's, but even those guys are still working so hard off the ball. Firmino is getting booked because he's getting involved with other players, but he's so tenacious in the way that he's working off the ball as well. So Jurgen Klopp has them drilled, man. He has them drilled down to a T. And Liverpool, if they keep up, again, it probably feels like a loss to them because they now fall a couple of points further behind Chelsea. But who's to say Chelsea won't drop points? They lost against Tottenham, proved that they are human, but then they bounced back even without their star striker. And it's why I really don't have any negative words to say about this weekend of Premier League football. Another great spectacle. So those are the headlines, I guess. Did I miss anything? Arsenal great, Tottenham. Like, as far as priority goes, Manchester City crumble. Liverpool outwork Manchester United but still get a point. Manchester United resort to Route 1 and get a point. Chelsea, without the star striker, still win. Arsenal look great, even though Alexis Sanchez was pissed about coming off. Tottenham, Harry Kane bangs in a hat-trick. What can I say? Another weekend at the office in the bipolar Premier League, and I love every single minute of it. Subscribe, Twitter, Francis_Maxwell, on Instagram, Francis Maxwell Host. Peace.